Hello Stans, welcome to a new series focused on my opinions and takes on the mind-boggling fandom life.
Get in the zone, break! How we are, SB19!
So, hello guys, my name is WiMae and welcome back to my channel. If you're coming from the idol industry in the Philippines, hi, this is Liwai. It's my stage name. So, yeah, you could call me whatever you want. So, I've promised a YouTube video on the idol industry in the Philippines, but I've been putting off writing the history of idol culture because it's way too much research and I have to read a lot, and the script is still in the rough drafts. I'm actually done with the Japanese side. I haven't finished the Korean side and the Filipino side. I've thought of another topic that's quite similar, but I could do it on a fly with less research than the first topic I wanted to talk about. So the idol industry in the Philippines is, in my opinion, of course, all of this video is just my opinion and a lot of research and a lot of participatory observation of the idol culture in the Philippines. So I think one of the most prominent start of the idol culture in the Philippines started with cover groups. It may be anime, it may be Japanese idol cover groups, it may be Korean idol cover groups, but it mainly started in those kinds of scenarios. So one of the prominent birthplace of those is the conventions. I think the first anime convention in the Philippines was in 2000. It was the Anime Explosion, and then we have the first dance and cover search in 2008. I forgot the specific convention, but it was that. And a lot of cover groups were doing Morning Musume, Perfume, TVXQ, AKB48, Brown Eyed Girls, Girls' Generation, and those. Yes, I know it's a lot of girl groups. I'm a girl group bias, so I'm just saying that most of the video would just be me talking about my girl group biases. So personally, I started this whole scenario in around second year high school. I was watching Dream High, and it was that Miss A debuted. So I was a fan. I loved Miss A. I am a Faye bias. So they were the first group that I followed from debut till disbandment. Yeah, I love them. And then I discovered at the same time Johnny's Entertainment. So I was a part of the News, Katun, Arashi, and Heisei Jump fandom. After high school, after my JE stint in college, I went back to spanning K-pop groups, which was Twice and Red Velvet, which was, they debuted my first year and second year in college, and then on my third year of college, MNL48 was announced. Then it reminded me that I was doing K-pop groups as well, so I went back to Calafina, Claris, and AKB48 and listening to those. So yeah, with my history put aside, I think it was also during those times, I think my third year in college, that the idol culture in the Philippines started as a phenomenon, I guess. It was the boy band Superstar. It was a TV show that wanted to produce a boy group similar to One Direction of Simon Cowell. During those times, there were also other groups that were in mix. There was Hashtag of Showtime. There was also Girl Chance of Showtime, which was their female counterpart. And then after that initial start of groups, we have two of the most, I guess, popular groups in the Philippines right now, which is MNL48, the girl group, and SB19, which is a boy group. There are also other girl groups that have debuted as indie groups. Two of my favorites are Idol Saga and CH4U, and I have a lot of favorite cover groups. As I've mentioned, the idol culture in the Philippines started with cover groups. One of them is Pastel Mix, and then Seishun Kakome. So they did a lot of covers. There were also a lot of Morning Musume cover groups back in the days when I was cosplaying. Those were the groups. So talking about the two of the most famous group in the Philippines. I think SB19 went viral with Go Up in 2019. They hit virality due to the K-pop stance in the Philippines, and then they were the first Filipino act in the Billboard charts, next big sound, if I remember correctly. And yeah, Go Up was like a really K-pop sound with good rap line and good lyrics. He really went hard, and then they were interviewed everywhere. They were everywhere at that time. And then MNL48, on the other hand, was a niche, still a niche group. I'm going to be honest. Oh my god, why can I speak? They're still a niche group. However, they do generate a huge physical album sales compared to any other groups in the Philippines. Maybe besides Sex Bomb and AJ's, they have like the most physical album sales. A trait that's like quite common to their mother group, which is AKB48, selling millions in like first day. We could like discuss more of the popularity of the two groups in a separate video. Just like make comment. So now that's out of the hand. Let's go to my observation of the PH idol industry and its development. So first off, we have the public search or the televised search of boy band PH and MNL48. They both did public search. However, perception of the general public differs to the girl group search and the boy group search. I would like to expound on that, but it's a whole other video and it's going to be so long. So boy band PH has their own time slot. It was a 30 to 45 minute time slot, which ran from September 10 to December 11. MNL48, on the other hand, shared time slot with Showtime. I think their running time was around 20 to 30 minutes episode, I guess, or each week. Their televised process started in January 2018 and ended in April 2018. So both groups actually had experienced a lot of comparison to the groups that they were patterned with. Boy band PH with One Direction, MNL48, AKB48 group. However, from the mere exposure effect, so this is like a psychological phenomenon wherein the mere exposure of something to you makes you more prone to liking stuff like that. So I think that helps in the development of the fandom or the likability of boy band PH compared to MNL48, wherein there is this, what do you call this? There is this patriarchal idea wherein girls after puberty should start behaving ladylike and not cutesy, not childlike. I think it's a standard here in the Philippines that when after you started developing puberty or like after you start your first period, you should start being ladylike. And this backfired with MNL48 because AKB48 is a very cutesy concept. It's a very kawaii concept, and then doing that to a Philippine audience which is not exposed to that kind of idea in a national search kind of backfired. So a lot of MNL48 was like embroiled with the issues of the fandom not the old fans not liking it and the general public not liking it. We could talk more about that later, but after those two search, we have SB19 and Clover, which did their search privately and debuted their groups after training for around 2 years. Yeah, SB19 trained for 2 years, but there was also like MNL48 and Boy Band PH. They also took a lot of work before they hit mainstream. I think it was because they weren't like shown in their full state that they created this image of like very well trained professional and very pleasing to the Filipino type of groups. I don't know. This is just my opinion. Everything's just my opinion. And I think in the Philippine context, we like groups wherein it feels very professional and very already like well done, and we don't like seeing them grow. Actually, very westernized in my opinion. It's unlike other groups in what we call this Japan, Korea, wherein they really like, yeah, they like it that the groups that were produced, the groups when they debut are kind of like good already, but like the idea of like the change and like the development. In the Philippines, we have this idea that when you debut, you should be like perfect and then like, everything is good, everything is flawless. Let's cut it there. While writing this topic, I asked the Twitter fandom, this is my Twitter, please follow, what they love and hate the most in the idol culture in the Philippines. Because like, we want inputs, we like talking about stuff, so let's listen to whatever they say. So the number one response to my question was they hated the fan wars. I asked what they loved and what they hate, but they only answered what they hated, and then I called them out on that, and then that's when they started answering what they loved. So I was like, fan wars. They really hate. Fan wars is like very, very prevalent in idol culture, but it's most especially toxic in the Filipino environment. I mean, I think this stems from the crab mentality of the Filipinos and the xenophilic. Hi, so editing the year, what I meant by xenophilic is the colonial mentality that we have, and we value the opinions of those that have colonized us versus the opinions that we might have locally or stuff like that. So let's start with the crab mentality first. With the crab mentality, we have this notion that success is a finite resource, and to achieve success, we have to fight for it, and then we have to drag the person that's above us because it's a finite resource. It's going to be empty soon. So we have to grab the person above us and drag them down so we could get that coveted success. So that's the idea of crab mentality. So that's what's happening in fan wars. So you could only stand a group and make them go up if you drag the other groups down. So you can ask anybody and they would give you their own story of crab mentality, from relatives to friends to neighbors to stuff like that. They have stories of crab mentality everywhere. It's very prevalent in the Philippines. It's mind-boggling, it's toxic, and it's annoying. The second one is this idea of Filipinos must have international recognition before they could be seen as successful. SB19 got the international recognition when they went viral and they got the spot from Billboard. With that, everybody jumped into the bandwagon of the fandom. I am not gatekeeping fandoms, but do not lie to me because I've been there too, starting Tila Luha, and I've seen it. Their popularity skyrocketed after Go Up and the Billboard charts. Everybody jumped in the bandwagon, everybody loved SB19, and I hated everyone for it. It was like, why do we need international recognition when we could recognize talent in our own? Like, why? Another example of this is the TNT Boys when they got like a lot of international recognition. Now everybody loves TNT Boys when they were already talented from the get-go. They were really good from the get-go. It was only after like the Ellen show that everybody wanted them. There's also Fourth Impact. Fourth Impact joined in Philippine search groups, but they weren't given anything. They weren't given a break, and then when they started joining other international talent search, it was then that everybody's kind of loving them. Idea for idol groups or like pop groups in the Philippines is I hate it. Yeah, I hate it. So I guess to end the video in a happier note, one of the things that fans really love in the idol culture in the Philippines is the variety of the sound flavor. So We have J-pop inspired groups, we have K-pop inspired groups, we have anime inspired groups. We have a lot of sounds that we made and patterned to whatever the Filipino music thing is right now. So the variety of the sounds that they provide for us isn't monotonous. It's really diverse. So that's one thing everybody loves about Filipino, about the idol culture in the Philippines. It's mostly because we have really good music producers. In my opinion, we have really good music producers, and they create sounds, and we really have talented members, and the sounds and the music they create is really, really good. There are some groups that have not yet found their niche and their sound, but I think right now those groups are going to be successful in the near future. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. I've rambled for 20 minutes already. And I just want to hear your comments and opinions of the Philippine idol culture. If I missed stuff. I know I didn't talk about Sex Pop, Viva Hot Babes, Accelerate. I know we haven't talked about them. It's because this is not a history of the Filipino idol. It's just like me talking about my journey as a stan and as a fan of idol groups, both from different countries: Japan, Korea, Thailand, Philippines, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. TFN. That's for now. Bye!